you increase all the other ones. If one of them is limiting your current, that's the cutoff point. You can play around with this. Hello, 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 everyone. Oh, test. Yeah. Hello, hello, welcome in, everyone. Let me fix chatters. There we go. Very good, very good. Hello, Kvizier, Brute, Zier, not to be mixed up, Bulbadin, welcome in. Harry, Star, and Seribot. Oh, 7 to Seribot. Gotta say hello to our bots. When they take over the world, become our overlords. Have you know that I was saying thanks to my bots. Hi, Night World. Current Destiny. What is happening? I was talking about the potato battery. It's one of my YouTube videos. Speaking of YouTube videos, I just linked in the top part there that, yeah, I have a new YouTube video, and it would mean a lot if y'all could leave a like, possibly a comment. It really helps out because I'm trying to grow my YouTube long-form content specifically. Hi, Chocolate Mints. How you doing? Lind, привет, welcome in. I am drinking a beverage. I am not sponsored. But someone recommended this to me. It's actually raspberry and peach flavor. It's quite nice. So I think it's an energy drink, sort of. It's an energy drink for like you know, right before going to the gym. So it must be yeah. I don't know what it must be. But anyways, it is what it is. Have you tried Bloom? No, but isn't Bloom the one that's sponsored by every influencer ever? I always feel like I see so many influencers sponsored by Bloom. I almost cheered, but I'll cheers anyway. Science and technology look a lot like Scientology. Oh my god, imagine. Yes, lol. It's good though. Oh, fair enough. I've never seen Bloom here in Ireland. It might not be a popular enough thing here, so maybe that's why I don't know much about it. Protein churros. No, but I do have churros. I bought a frozen pack once from Lidl. It was really good. I quite liked it. You do have to deep fry it in oil though. Bad news and gossip always go faster than light. I do try to like get my protein intake a little bit elsewhere nowadays. So like I buy the yogurt with extra protein and hummus with extra protein. Just because like I am cutting back on meat. I'm trying to not eat meat. Not full vegetarian or anything crazy like that. I just have stopped. Nothing crazy like that. But yeah, because of that, I tried to sneak a bit of extra protein elsewhere. Hi, Fifik. Welcome in. Ilgaz, Stretchy Tracks coming in with your 3-stream streak. Let's go. I saw a soda with fiber in it. You know what? You know what? It's not the lack of protein intake in the Western world that's popular right now. It's the lack of fiber. So, yep. Parmigiano isn't Parmesan cheese. I don't know if that's the same spell. But am I weird in saying that it's not vegetarian? Parmesan cheese is actually the one that has actual meat stuff in it. Hi, Kamikaze. And that's why I bought a salad today. Alright, my tooth hurts. I have a wisdom tooth that's completely rotted and chipped a bit. I will extract it, but sometimes it kind of hurts my gum. Most cheeses are made with rennet, which is not vegetarian. Oh, most cheeses. I didn't realize. I thought it was only a couple of stuff. No, I understand that cheese is animal produce. That's fine. But that it actually has meat in it. Or like Azumarso has live maggots in it. That's the one. Yes, Ilgaz. That's the one. Yes. Zier coming in with a 315 stream streak. Larger streaker running through the chat. I need to print the lab rat passes. You remind me of that. I need to sketchy tracks. Your 3 stream streak is a little intimidating now, huh? But yeah, I need to print out the lab rat passes. So I started printing them, getting ready the next batch, and I realized I ran out of lab rat passes. I've been doing so many. I need to order them, but I need a week off. And so the problem is next week I'm really busy. On Monday I'm streaming. Yeah, Monday I'm going to stream. Tuesday I'm going to my university. I'm working. Thursday I have my driving lesson. Shit, I don't have much time next week. Maybe the following week. But I need to go to my mom's the following week at least once. Friday I'm going to the beach. Tomorrow morning I'm going to the beach, actually. So I'm going to be a late stream tomorrow. I'm getting up early and I'm going to the beach. Let's go to the beach, eat, let's get away. They say what they're gonna say. Sorry. I apologize. Please forgive me. The idea that honey is not vegan. I mean, yeah, it is interesting, but it is true that although I could be wrong, but I feel like that might be up to debate. Correct me on this, chat. Is the fact that honey is not vegan is actually like split between vegans? Some vegans do agree with that, and some vegans don't. That it's still up in the air. Hi, Mord. If a lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is putting its shoes on, what is the max speed of a lie and the truth?
Good news, everyone!
Nice. Nice, Tetsu. Vegans who like honey agree that it is. Vegans who don't like honey agree that it isn't. I see how it is. Ah, thank you, Mord. You're very, very kind. I have my little Artemis t-shirt. This is, do you remember we had a Tofu Tech Talk with Chloe Lipton, Everyday STEMinist? This is her merch I'm wearing today, but it's from the Artemis launch. You look amazing. You look beautiful. Isn't that the dream? To be called something like that? That's the goal. That's the dream, guys. That's the dream. Today we have some special plans, loads of special plans. Number one, Frank McCourt. I'm going to be teaching logic gates. We're actually doing a lesson today because I think I need to stick to doing lessons occasionally. I'm thinking about sticking to them on Saturdays generally and then doing projects on Sundays and Mondays. So that's where I'm leaning with my stream, to stream on Sundays and Mondays. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Those are my 3 days. No, my glasses aren't that new. A couple of months now. Yeah, but I'll like to stick to Saturdays being lessons, and I'll pick a topic and we teach for an hour or so. It depends. I say for an hour, but as you guys know, my stream can kind of derail, and sometimes I cover so much that I keep going for ages. So today we're doing logic gates. Again, you guys are helping me with my YouTube content. I'm doing a series on how do computers think, or how do computers store memories. So I've covered diodes, introduction to solid state physics, BJTs. So that's one branch. The next branch we need to do is binary digits, which I just covered, was our last stream. And the second part to that is we need to cover logic gates. And after that, logic gates and BJTs join together to talk about chips. Not the chips that you eat, chat. Don't eat these guys. It's the little circuits, little chips that you put into your circuits. So we combine those two together and we can explain those. Hi, Rock Out Guy. Welcome in. It's about the exploitative nature of harvesting honey. So whilst no bee was harmed, allegedly the beekeepers are stealing the honey from the boar pecan. Yes, we understand. I understand that part, but I wonder if I'm not mistaken, though, it is still split between the vegans. Would that be fair to say, Zier? I feel like there are better options if you're deficient in iron ore. Can we make circuits with potatoes? We can. Absolutely. We can power some LEDs. Good morning, Silver. Welcome in. Hope you're keeping well. Won't they be rich in silicon? Yeah, but the metal, well, there's metal chips there elsewhere, and there's metal connectors. All of that has to be copper. I don't think we take copper, do we? Sorry, my camera is not focusing on me. Hello, camera, it's me. I'm the most important person here. What was I saying? Do we humans need copper? I know we need iron and zinc. Those are trace elements that we need. Is copper one of the ones that we need to take supplements for? I don't think so. Happy to be corrected. Gold. Do we take gold? I know that you can drink shots of Goldschlager with chippings of gold in there. So if you're deficient in gold, I recommend drinking shots of Goldschlager before going to bed each night. Copper, yes, I think. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. All right, will we boot up our minds, our brains to start our logic gate lesson? There's an eye condition, Kaiser Fletcher, where the eyes have elemental copper around the eye. Ooh, that sounds cool. I'm sure that's not a good thing, but that does sound really cool. Let me find my laptop. Ugh. Back up a tat. Hi, Loki. Welcome in, welcome in. So yes, general, unless I say otherwise, expect my streams for the summer to be on Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays. And then I'm going to take 4 days off. 4 days off, I mean by 2 days are content creation days, and 2 days are going to be research days, because I need to research. Oh, mine! 11 months! Low-key, that is 12 months almost, 1 year. Thank you so much for the resub. Really appreciate the PP contribution. You're very kind. Hi, Lay with Mind. Oh, Jesus. I did bicep and tricep day yesterday. So I kind of grouped my arm day in two now. Tricep and bicep is one day, and the other day is back and chest is one of the other ones. And the tricep and bicep was yesterday. I don't think I'm like really pushing my triceps. I really need to find more challenging workouts for it. But the biceps were good. I feel it all the way from here, all the way down here. That sounds like, you know. Is that why tofu's sitting so straight? Is it? The other reason why is I've actually changed my monitor. So remember I asked chat at what height I meant to have my monitor, and you all said that the eye should be roughly almost on top of the monitor. I didn't believe you. I thought you were all lying to me. But in the end, I decided that to try it, and it is so much better for my neck. So really, really thank you so much. I have removed my stand, and my monitor is way, way down lower. So thank you for all that advice, even though I protested against it. Didn't believe a single word you guys said. Hi, Radio. Welcome in. I'm streaming from Ireland at the moment. All right, so for this, I'm going to pop up my lecture notes again. And I think these lecture notes are quite literally called logic gates. Might be lecture 5. Is this? No. 4. Introduction to digital. Oh, that's a massive lecture note. That's the... Oh, wow, it is. Okay.
And they call it a mine.
Oh, mine! Sketchy Tracks, thank you so much for your sub as well. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the 3 months. And another extra PP point. Yes, exactly. We operate at 50 hertz over here versus the 60 in the United States. Hi, Medjay. Welcome in. Welcome in. Surprised your uni doesn't have display screen equipment mandatory course for employees, especially if a lot of your work is done with computers. Oh, mandatory course. Yeah, I think I had it in my other university. I don't think this university trained me on how to sit at the laptop and stuff. Yeah. I guess... I don't know. I was going to say, I guess inherently I'm not... Am I an office worker? It's hard to really color me as an office worker. I'm not sure.
They call it a mine.
Magnus, 40 stream streak. Let's go. Bulbadim, thank you so much for your resub as well. 9 months. That's a Twitch baba. And thank you so much for kicking up a hype train. Choo choo.
Choo choo. Motherfucking choo choo.
Thank you so much, Twitch, for the wonderful hype train. All aboard the scam train. How did you come to do this? Your background and experience? Yeah, so my background is in teaching and in physics. So I have a bachelor's, a master's, a PhD. Now I'm a lecturer. So yeah, this is my life. And for some reason, I also do this as a hobby on top of having it as a full-time career as well. Some people just really love their jobs, I guess. We'll clean up the whiteboard. I think we will. Will we kickstart? Or will we wait until the hype train is over? Hi, Chloe. I was just saying about this top. It was from your merch. Look at it. And I'm matching with pink pants. We're very pink today. Very Barbie. Top educators on Twitch. I wonder, would I rank myself? Because education can be very broad. Like STEM, sure, but you know, what does it mean to be an educator? There's some really amazing League of Legends educators, for example. Sorry, I'm rubbing my bicep up here because it hurts so bad. I really pushed the limit with my bicep curls. So I might just pick you up, chat, if that's okay. And I'm going to clean up the whiteboard. Actually, before we clean up the whiteboard, let's just talk about what we want to talk about until I actually have to, you know, do stuff. So before we kickstart on logic gates, I need to talk to you about, well, what is logic? So many of you might know logic from mathematics or from philosophy, and both are going to be very applicable in this case of what we're going to be studying. No, I haven't played Starfield. I think it might be on my wish list. I'll buy it if it's on like 60-70% sale sometime. Among the top science outreach on Twitch for sure. Yes, I would say so. At least I don't know of anyone much more who do science outreach and education. Tofu will do weightlifting competitions. Oh, that's amazing about your nursing degree. Welcome in, welcome in. Hi, Mythic Frost. Exactly, what do you want the logic to be? So, logic is a realm of human reasoning that tells you a certain proposition, brackets, a declarative statement, is true if certain conditions are true. So basically, a logic in this case is A is true under conditions B, C, and D, for example. Okay. Several propositions, when combined, so a couple of statements, form propositional or logical functions.
And
There
they
we go.
call it a mine.
Mine. Tetsu, thank you so much for giving Dave a gift sub. 44 gift sub on this channel. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Welcome in, Delmos. Hype train. Exactly. So, for example, for a light switch to be on, we need to meet two conditions. Number one, light switch needs to be on, and number two, light bulb can't be burnt out. Under those two conditions, the light switch will be on. So that is a structure of logic. In this case, we have two statements that need to be held true. Also, it can also be false for the outcome to be true or false. It depends on obviously the conditions of either statement prior. Ah, Psycho Soul, that's very kind of you. I'm glad you're here from the Elite gameplay. Welcome in, welcome in. Exactly. There are many puzzle games and automation games out there that are fantastic in teaching you about logic gates and how logic gates works. So is a logic gate a transistor or a switch? A transistor can be a switch, and so it can be a logic gate, but they don't have to be. They can be sensors or kind of like control amplifiers, for example.
And they call it a mine.
Mine. Sketchy, thank you so much for giving Danny a gift sub. I hope he enjoys the emotes. Unfortunately, because of our time zones, he very rarely pops in, but when he does, it's always a pleasure and an honor. Thank you so much for gifting a gift sub to him. We'll get to Zor in a second, absolutely. I was literally watching you before opening Twitch. You were showing the bunny hop on your back. Yeah, Bambi's so good. She's amazing. If she comes in here, I usually show the bunny jump on my back sometimes. She does it live on stream. There is proof. There is proof. Okay, so I gave you an introduction to logic, right? So this is what logic functions are about, and it's an everyday world around us. So you can see how this is also philosophical, what philosophical logic is about as well. It's about determining statements and holding them to be true under certain conditions, or conditions need to be met for certain logic to be true. But we're going to kind of simplify it down here in our lesson today. But it is an important application. If you remember this, this will be very useful for you in life. When again, you maybe reflect on philosophy and science in other realms. So in the 1850s, the Irish logician and mathematician George Boole developed a mathematical system for formulating logic statements with symbols so that problems can be written and solved in a manner similar to ordinary algebra. This is called Boolean algebra. Now, Boolean algebra is an algebra revolved around doing mathematics with logics. And what's amazing is in our previous lesson, I covered with you digital signals, highs and lows, ones and zeros, binary system. And that's all we need to know. For logic to work and operate, all we need is yes or no. 1 or 0. High or low. On or off. So these are the types of terminologies that we are going to use when we're going to be talking about logic gates and Boolean algebra. And you can imagine why we use the term gate. You'll see it in a second once we cover the structure and the design of these guys. Yeah, just to be mindful of it. In fact, I have a painting on my wall here of some logic gates already. So I'm going to let you guys see it for yourselves. Can you spot it? Da-da-da-da. How cool is that? If I need a quick reference, I'll be like, oh, sorry. There we go. We already have some logic gates ready out the window, even before I need to write anything on my whiteboard. Ugh. It depends what kind of gates they are, Chocolate Mint. So TTLs, for example, would be transistors. Oh, sorry, they're all actually transistors. You're right. It just depends on which ones, BJTs or MOSFETs. But yeah, we'll cover that. We'll cover how these gadgets make logic gates. That'll be one of our lessons. And thank you again so much for the hype train. Really appreciate the support on the channel, Lab Rats. You're very, very kind. Good to me. Thank you. But as always, I hope no one is ever bullied or pressured into supporting this channel. Ultimately, if you put up with the ads, both on YouTube and Twitch, you guys get all this education for free. So at least I get ad revenue, which I really appreciate anyway. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to pick you up and we're going to go to the whiteboard, okay? Let me go up. You raise me up so I can be a toad. You raise me up. I'm hilarious in my head. I'm just saying. In case anyone's wondering, why the hell does she do this shit? It's because I'm so funny. Oh, speaking about being funny, I'm going to show you what we're going to do tomorrow. This is just the box, but look what I got sent. This is a whole suitcase for a soldering kit by Solder. They sent me one of their gadgets. So it turns out you have to build it. It takes about an hour. In Tofu language, that probably means 2 hours. So tomorrow we're going to be building our big soldering system. That's going to be our stream tomorrow. All right, let me get... where's my spray? There it is. This is based on the YouTube video that I've just uploaded. And I know I've pinned it in the chat. But if you guys don't mind, I really appreciate the support. I am trying to grow my YouTube channel on like my long form YouTube. So if you guys wouldn't mind having a click on it, it's pinned in there. And leaving a like and a comment would mean a lot. It really does help out a good bit. This one marker is really hard. Off. Go. Hi, it's Nick. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the 10 stream streak. In this heat, the spray, if you spray the lab rats, it will be as a reward, not a punishment. Does it help to know that that spray has a bit of soap in it? It's to wash your dirty mouths with. You dirty, dirty rats. Dirty rats. Sorry, my glasses are very dirty. Better. It's so oily. Hey. So we've talked about logic, what logic is, how it functions. So our next gate is to talk about the first logic gate. And usually this is the first one that anyone ever covers. It's called the AND gate. Hi from here. Hi, Sketchy. Double hello to you. move the fan just because I'm really hot. Down. Bastard. Really hard to get the fan over here. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. Okay, so the first gate we're going to use is AND. And the reason why we use AND is a great question. I don't remember how the lore goes for that. But if I remember roughly, the idea behind it is that this goes back to computer science, or this links in with computer science and with classic algebra and so on and so forth. So just to kind of ensure that you don't get too confused, AND doesn't mean plus. The better way about thinking about it is that it's a dot product. It's a multiply sign. It's not the greatest way of remembering it, but just remember that AND gate is not a plus sign, it's a multiply sign. I'll explain myself in a little while. So, remember what a logic is. Logic function is one where if you meet a certain criteria of A and B, you get a certain outcome out of it, out of that logic. Okay, so let's say we have a condition A and B, and I say that A and B are 0, 0, low, low, false, false. In a AND gate specifically, it is a 0. So let's think about this. Well, this logic gate would perfectly work for our light bulb. If A is, let's think about this. If A is switches on, and B is light bulb works. So under the condition that the switch is on, i.e. 1, or the light bulb works, i.e. 1, then the light will be on. Our light bulb will be on. But let's go through our logic first. Hi, John, Rolf, welcome in, Conrad. So in this case, number 1, our switch is off, and number 2, our light bulb doesn't work, so our light bulb is off. Makes sense. Let's do something else. The light switch is off, 0, but our light bulb works. Will the light bulb be on or off, chat? If number 1, the switch is off, but number 2, the light bulb works. The light bulb off. Still 0. What if we have the switch is on, but the light bulb doesn't work? The light bulb still won't be on. What if, our last but not least, our switch is on and the light bulb works? Under those two conditions, our light bulb is on. This, lab rats, is an AND logic gate function. And we have a symbol for it. When we draw it in a circuit diagram, this is how it's going to look. So you can have 0, 0, the output will be 0. You can have 1, 1, and the output could be 1, and so on and so forth. First step is to get to an AND and then build every other logic gate. We need to explain an AND first though before we get there. Now you might say, well, Tofu, what if we have more conditions? C, D, E, we have a huge logic gate. Absolutely, we can. but it still follows true that under only one condition will an AND gate be on, and that's if all of them are high. You can have logic gates of combinations of 2 to the power of n. You can have 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2, and so on and so forth. Those are the possible combinations. Oh, sorry. Let me rephrase that. I'm not wrong, but just give me a second. If we have 3 inputs, A, B, and C, then we have 8 possible combinations. There we go. Sorry, I had to rephrase that to be more a bit pedantically accurate. So that would mean we have 8 lines. Now we have 2 possible inputs, A, B. So 2 to the power of 2 is equal to 4. So we have 4 possible combinations. And when you look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4. It holds to be true. So what I might do is, I might even give you a bit of homework. I'll give you like 20 seconds, chat. Develop the truth table for a 3 input AND gate. On your marks. Get set. Go! Can you describe the D flip-flop? We need to cover a lot more basics first, Abraham, but I will be working towards D flip-flops, JK flip-flops, and so on. Sorry, I'm burping because I had my drink, my Celsius drink. I might move the fan over here if that's okay, chat. So freaking hot, man. Let me know if it's too loud. Can you guys hear the fan in the background? Because it's right beside me. Let me know if it's too loud. Sir Yogi Wan, welcome in, welcome in. Hi, Cats. Perfect. So here is the answer. A 3 input AND gate would need 3 possible variations, A, B, and C. Sorry, the light is shining, but that letter is A. And we can do some quick maths to remember how many lines we'll have. 2 to the power of 3, because we have 3 possible inputs, means we have 8 lines. So it's just a way of checking our maths. Now, when we do binary, maybe we should have done some basic binary digits. But how binary works, in terms of countdown, is you always upgrade the one on the left-hand side, upgrade the guy on the right after you've changed your double state. Now, just to check my work, that I did the right amount of combinations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 lines, 8 combinations. I know I did it right. But under the logic gate of AND, it always has to be only under a high. All highs. Do we get a high? There we go. That is what the logic gate would be. Now, remember I mentioned earlier to kind of forget that AND means plus. So we're going to cover some very nice basic Boolean algebra, but just want to make sure you look at something. If you remember your dot products, 0 multiplied by 0 is equal to 0. 0 multiplied by 1 is equal to 0. 1 multiplied by 0 is equal to 0. And 1 multiplied by 1 is equal to 1. So you can check your work or check your multiplication and see if these all work out. Spoilers, it does. And that is like a little sneak peek and a little introduction to Boolean algebra. Boolean. Love to say that word. It's a very good word. Now, something that we can do, because we covered it earlier in my previous lecture and in my previous YouTube. If you guys want references, the YouTube video I'm talking about is digital signals, ones and zeros. I'm Asha, hello, Unstable Diaz. Is waveforms. So something fun that we can do is that we can grab a logic gate and we can grab its waveform. So I'm gonna maybe reference this one. Just to kind of make sure that so that's a high, low, high, high, low. For B, it is high, 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 low, low. Now, using this AND gate and these waveforms, we determine what our output is going to be. With timing diagrams. Oh no, John. Perfect though. We're covering it now. I need to look at the JEE exams for electronics. I feel like that could be a fun YouTube video for sure. That still only counts as 1. Thanks a million for the follows. So let me grab another marker. Hi, Hex. Let's look at the outcome. So we only get a high on the output when our input is high. Both A and B are high. There we go. Next part is going to be a low. Next part is going to be a high. Next part is going to be a low, low. So from my timing diagram, our answer, there we go, 0, is high, low, low. Or 1, 0, 1, 0, 0. Exactly. So that is how our timing graph would look like in a logic AND gate circuit. Editing my notes. Like I said, you guys are my lab rats. Save this. Had a mistake on the logic gate. Okay. I'm going to give you a challenging question. Do you cover Grey Code? No, I do know of it, but I don't teach it to my students. It's not the module that I teach. We have too much to cover. Now, what I'm going to do is give you a challenging question. If anyone loves to do some problem solving with logic. Okay, so this is a logic problem solving question. Are you ready, team? Okay, let's go. Do some jumping jacks. We're ready for this. Oh, don't jump in this heat. Terrible idea. I want you to design an AND gate for a seatbelt. With 3 conditions. Number 1, an ignition switch. Number 2, and number 3, duration of ignition. Now this is weird to me when I saw this problem, I did talk to my students this year, and they did say in their cars, this is actually how it works. I didn't know that. So, let's say 30 seconds. For me, my seatbelt beeps immediately. If my seatbelt isn't buckled, my car beeps at me immediately if I'm moving. But apparently, in some cars, they wait for you to be driving for 30 seconds, or the ignition has to be on for at least 30 seconds before it starts beeping at you. So it has nothing to do with you driving. It's just about you sitting there. So not exactly, Zier. I feel like I've seen more cars with the weight on the seat. That's what does yours do, Hex? So chat, I'm going to ask you, what is your condition? Speed. I've heard about the speed one. Yeah, so you have to be traveling like, was it 20 or 30 kilometers per hour before it beeps at you? Yeah, there's different conditions. So this one was weird to me, but my students said that their cars do this. I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. So yeah. Okay, Hex, yours is the same as this car then. No worries, Dragon. Yeah, most cars do that now. I wouldn't say it's that modern. I would say cars of 15 years old would beep at you for sure. But yeah, so just be in mind that this condition is unique. In my car, it's as soon as the car moves, it will beep that there is no seatbelt on. Or actually, there's a flashing light that beeps at me if the car is on. I think it's weighted. Because it beeps if anyone in my car isn't wearing a seatbelt. So if the passenger's not wearing a seatbelt, it beeps. If the back car, which is annoying if you have shopping bags and you put them in the back seat and it detects it. Yeah, that can be annoying. And certain cars, and mine also has a speeding limit thing, that if I break the speeding limit, my car beeps at me. Wait till you hear this. None of these beeping things I can legally turn off. Apparently, you can't turn them off. So, I can't even turn off the beeping. Well, Tofu's not allowed to be caught speeding. You'll never be caught speeding for that sense. Hi, King Egg. That beeped if you went above 100. Oh, no! That was before, wait, do I have a Toyota? It's a Yaris. All my cars have been Yarises. Are those Toyotas? What do you want us to do? Build an AND gate out of it. It's very nice and straightforward, Drink Cats, if you're familiar with this. But if you guys are new to this, how does your car know the speed limit? It detects the signposts, which is really, really annoying because it will detect like older things. Or do you know those ones that are suggested? So sometimes on the roads here, it's 100 kilometers per hour, but maybe there's roadworks or something and there's the suggested limit. You're not breaking the limit. It's just a suggested updated limit to 50. And it will beep non-stop at you. It's like, oh my God. And there's no winning because if you drive at 50, everyone behind you is beeping the shit out of you. Or if you drive over, your car is beeping the shit out of you. Basically, no matter what happens, you're getting beeped the shit out of. I just can't win. I got beeped, actually, in my last driving lesson. Oh yeah, it was an old man behind me. It was weird. I was going slow on a roundabout, but then I sped up and I continued speeding up, but he just kept beeping me just to let me know every time that he was pissed off at me still. People have no... I have a learner's thing on my plate. It's mad. The impatience people have here is crazy. Mine's a Toyota, yes. So we're all Toyotas. You should test it to fuse for max current. Yeah, no, it is in Ring Cats. You just need to kind of state what the condition is. What is high and what is low for this to work. I can go 130 kilometers. Hi, Box Kismo. Welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, unfortunately, the city I'm in is notoriously known for being really impatient and rude with learner drivers. Just to compare, because I used to learn in Limerick, and I did my first ever 6 driving lessons in Limerick. I didn't get beeped a single time. Not once. Not once. And here, I'm way better at driving. Do make some mistakes. Again, it's not even mistakes. I'm just speed limiting and, you know, just under the speed limit. And I still get it all the time. Angel of the Lanes. Do you have any favorite movies from the 90s or 2000s? Oof. I haven't ranked my favorite movies. I have a lot. Does beep equal honk? Yes, I get honked all the time. I don't know if that's where you are, but Cork drivers are mental. Donegal too. I don't think they're bad drivers here. Like, they're not mental drivers, just absolutely impatient. And I'm just really shocked by the behavior because of the L plates. Because if you, I don't know if you know, the law in Ireland is that you have to give more space to an L plated car. And, you know, it's part of my rule book. I studied this in the exam just a couple of months ago. They have to give space, you have to be more considerate, you have to be more patient. But I just get very little lenience here. And what's really startling is how people are just so eager to cut me off. And, like, okay, just think about this logically. You see a person who is an L driver, they're a learner. It's one of their first times on the road. And you decide that you are going to, what's the word? Like, bypass them, like go on the wrong side of the road, cut in and do a quick zoom in, overtake, there you go. If you're going to overtake and like quickly cut in front of them before they crash or whatever, and to like no space in between you and the learner just to get ahead of them because you don't want to be stuck behind them. I don't understand how someone can think logically that that is a choice they could have made. When thinking objectively that this is a learner, they're going to react badly. They could, okay, not that they could cause an accident. You could cause an accident because the learner's learning for the first time. Oh God, I am really, really frustrated with people's impatience. Yeah, Father Dougal, very, very bad. I just can't believe the impatience. I keep hearing L driver and keep thinking. In Ireland, I don't know if it's the same in other countries, but in Ireland we have an L plate on the front and the back of the car. If you are a learner driver, as in you haven't passed your license yet, and you're doing your learning, you put an L plate on your car to announce to everyone that you're a learner and to stay clear and to give more room for them. Oh, general physics, John. Easy. General physics. And then N for noob. Exactly. L for loser and N for noob. Oh, okay, King. Interesting. Okay, we have something similar to the UK's here. We have N for new license owner. And you have to have it up for 2 years after you get your license. Yeah. Anyways, there's my rant. Sorry to rant about it, but it is really frustrating how impatient people are with me. I guess I'm okay with the fact that when I make a mistake, I'm wrong and I get beeped at. It's okay. But I think what kind of pissed me off is the rage that people feel towards me for like obeying the speed limit and being a careful driver and like honking nonstop, letting me know that they're angry at me. I thought I meant novice. Oh, was it? I thought I meant new. Oh, novice, new. Fair enough. Same thing. How dare you respect the road? I know. Honk. It is so frustrating though. Like I feel such an anger of like, who are you as a human being to do that? Oh, anyways. Look, we'll finish the rant. Anyways, so preconditions. You have A, ignition switch. It has to be both on or off, okay? So that could just be high or low. That's fine. Number 2, we want it to beep if the seatbelt is not on. So we have to change that condition ever so slightly. And last one is duration of the ignition. This needs to be true. So that's fine. So under the condition that the ignition switch is on, the seatbelt is not on, and the ignition has been on for 30 seconds, then your alarm will beep. Those are the conditions to make an AND gate in your car. So this is actually how your car operates. This is how your car beeps at you, annoyingly. It has a little logic gate circuit inside, and it determines exactly just that. In Dublin once, he was trying to speed past. I merged for him, but there was too much traffic, so he was behind me for a while. He was so mad. Oh my god. Road rage is insane, King. Insane. That's mad. I genuinely think if you have any moment of road rage, you have to have your license revoked. You have to have your license taken away. A car is a weapon. We know this. We know this, that a car can be used as a weapon. You gonna talk about can? I read it out a little bit, and I think I realized what it was going to be like. Is it Rocky? No, it's just an octopus. Just an octopus. I drive a Toyota Prius. I wouldn't call it a weapon. I know it might feel that way, but in reality it is. We do need to be careful. Yes, but look, I'm a new driver, so obviously I'm a little bit more careful than the average driver. I have to be while I'm learning. But yeah, there's just a couple of things like got beeped at the other day. That little road rage I had. There was a kid on a bike on a footpath as we were approaching a roundabout, and do you know those roundabouts where the path cuts off? So he was a kid. He was kind of wobbling on his bike. So I was really slow approaching the roundabout because I was just watching out for him. That's what happened. I got slightly harassed by the driver behind me the rest of the road. And it's so funny when they beep, it's like you're making the situation worse. You're now making the learner driver more upset, more distracted, more whatever. It's insane. I suppose I'm talking from another perspective of a lot of terrorist attacks in Europe, King. We have a lot of terrorist attacks here where they've used cars. And that's why I say a car is a weapon. So I also come from a place of we need to be careful and we need to be knowledgeable. Yeah, it is Mad King. In UK recently, it came into law that the more vulnerable the road user is, the higher the priority. Oh! We get bikes and walkers walking on the wrong side of the road, going back and forth from the sidewalk. Yeah, I mean, look, you just have to be careful. Again, in this case, we're the ones driving the cars. We have to be more careful. The seatbelt on and off should go through a knock gate. No. No. It can just be by itself. The seatbelt is either on or off. It doesn't matter. It's just what you state the condition to be. I know what you're kind of thinking, that if it's the opposite statement, but you can make whatever statement you want it to be. That's the beauty of... so high is unbuckled, low is buckled. That makes sense. Can you have an and with as many inputs as you want? Absolutely. You can. For each input that you put in, more A, B, C, Ds, it's D to the power of that many inputs, and that's how many probabilities. Not probabilities. That's the amount of outcomes? No, states. That's the number of states that you possibly can have. Combinations, thank you. That's the word. Combinations. You can chain them as well. That is true. Exactly, ring cats. Exactly. What happens if there are parent and child statements, as in C is the combination of... Luckily, with an AND gate, it's very straightforward here, because it will only be high if all signals are high. With an AND gate, you can chain them, like Haluska just mentioned there. You can chain them as much as you want, especially with an AND gate. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. You can chain AND gates to no end. Can you buckle it behind you? Yes, you can. You can get away with buckling your seatbelt behind you. If I'm not mistaken, that's what police do. Maybe someone could correct me on that. I think guards do not wear seatbelts because of their requirement for fast response. Am I spreading a lie, chat? I don't know if I'm spreading a lie. Product, yes, it is, yeah. Anyways, number one, I just want to say thank you for letting me vent about my honking incidents. Frustrating when I feel like I get unjustly honked. But number two, I think the two incidences that truly upset me were minor road rage incidents, and no matter if you're a learner, new, or inexperienced driver, you should never be a victim of rage. First of all, road rage should never happen. But I'm just really surprised of people around. Crazy. Big L plates there. The law literally tells you, patient, stay away from them. And then number two, we have finished everything I need to teach you about the AND gate. So lo and behold, we're going to move on to the next gate, and it's going to be the bread and butter of everything that we're going to do, is the OR gate. The OR gate is very, very interesting, and you can kind of start thinking mathematically. Now remember I said AND is kind of like a multiply. The OR, kind of like a plus sign. Here we go. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. I'm going to go pee. Thanks for the follows. Yeah, I suppose maybe it's a highlight. If you see a learner driver in front of you, be patient. You were a learner once too. We're all learners once. It's not even be kind. One thing is to be kind. Number two, let's be safe. Let's be safe. Yeah. All right, I'll be right back. 12, 10 to the minus 9, 10 to the minus 5. And those numbers don't mean much to people in the general public space. Although this equation seems straightforward, how would you solve it working a little bit backwards? So here's a typical problem. Imagine my classroom is operating at 75 decibels. What is the intensity of the sound in the room? 10 is just a number, it's just being multiplied on one side, so to move it to the other side, we're going to divide it. And to get rid of the log, we put everything to the power of 10. The side of the equation that has the log, it just disappears. But the side of the equation that doesn't have the log is put to the power of. In our case, that is 10 to the power of beta over 10. Rearrange the equation to find I on its own, and we have all the numbers. We have what the threshold of hearing is. We know that the decibel is 75, and 10 is just a number. Multiply them all out, and voila. The intensity of the room is 3.2 by 10 to the minus 5 watts per meter squared. As you can see, that was a mouthful of a sentence to say, and that is why we tend to not use intensity to measure sound when we're conversing in everyday language. Decibels is a little bit easier to talk about. Happy sounding. What does the sun, Chernobyl, and a banana have in common? I know they don't walk into a bar. All of these things have radioactive properties, and I just want to talk a little bit about radioactive units. The reason I wanted to do this video is because there's so many, and I didn't realize just how many there are. The first one we're going to talk about is Becquerel. You might know him because he did win a Nobel Prize alongside Pierre and Marie Skłodowska-Curie. The unit Becquerel describes the disintegration that occurs per second. Multiply that number by 37 billion and you have the Curie. This is the conventional unit of activity. Another unit associated with radioactivity is Gray. It is described as the absorption per matter. So the unit would be joule per kilogram. This would be a very important aspect in medicine, for example. Another form of this unit is rad. You probably encountered this if you played Fallout. 1 rad is equal to 0.01 Gray. That is how the rad is defined nowadays, but back in the day it was defined slightly differently. It was defined as 100 ergs absorbed per 1 gram of matter, and ergs was just 10 to the minus 7 joules. Another unit that was used in the past a lot is the unit Röntgen. If you watched the BBC Chernobyl TV show, you would recognize that this was the standard unit that they were using. This is expressed as the unit of exposure to radiation. From 1930s onwards, it was the standard unit used to discuss radiation and radioactivity. It is defined as the electric charge freed by the radiation in 1 cubic centimeter of air divided by the mass of the air. The problem with this unit was it was only talking about the radiation that actually traveled through air, and we know that sometimes that's not the case. We're talking about human bodies, that there's direct contact as well, and all of these things need to be taken into consideration. Around that time we also had REM, a Röntgen equivalent man. This was basically associated with Röntgen, but it was talking about the effective dose. It was the value representation of how much it takes to start damaging the body. 1 REM is 0.01 sievert. And what is a sievert? The sievert is the SI unit where we represent the dangerous radiation. The sievert is an SI unit to represent the dangers of the ionization radiation. It is defined as the probability of getting cancer and genetic mutation due to the exposure of radiation. 1 sievert is equal to 100 rem. There's probably a lot more units out there, but this is just a quick summary, and if I left anything out, please let me know. In physics and English we use the same words, but sometimes they have slightly different meaning, and here's 3 funny ones that you might have encountered or maybe you haven't heard of. Number 1 is weight, and if you did any introduction to physics, they really drill you in the beginning that these are 2 different concepts. In English we say weight, but what we mean is 1 kilogram of flour is its weight. However, what we actually mean is mass in physics. Weight would be if we multiplied it by gravity. It's the W is equal to mg relationship. Number 2 is the concept of theory. In English we say, ooh, I have a theory that this might have happened, which might have little to no evidence to back up your theoretical claims. However, in physics, a theory is really well established. In fact, that's pretty much the final statement of a discovery or understanding in physics. For example, we have the theory of gravity, and I don't know about you, but personally I won't be jumping out the window anytime soon to try and disprove it. And finally, we have male and female parts, and this is not just in physics, this is interchangeable in a lot of technological terms. We have the female and male parts of cables, banana clips, all these kind of sorts of things. I hope I don't have to explain what the English of that is. If you have any other examples in mind, please share in the comments. Welcome to Physics of Video Games, and today we are doing physics of Baldur's Gate 3. Specifically, this incident that happened live on my Twitch stream.
Let's see what this does.
I'm not sure about that, but okay. I'm a bit worried about what that release brake lever would have done. Vic. Sorry, it took a while. I had to find Bambi. Put her in a room close by. Cool. Welcome in, Warren Fungus. Thanks for the follow earlier. Sometimes I read something like that and it's like, oh my god, it's an inappropriate comment. We have to ban them. I don't know if the mods were ready with the ban as well. And then you have to read the comment carefully and be like, okay. All is good. Welcome in, welcome in. I was looking at it and thinking the same. Yeah, I was like, that one of those dodgy comments we have to delete. I just got here in time to be banned. Let's go, young at heart. All right, welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you all got yourself some nice beverages. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on. To our next gate, War Gate. In terms of what we're going to stream today, obviously we're streaming Logic Gates, but remember I didn't finish Surviving Mars and I was kind of raging at it. So off stream I played a little bit of Surviving Mars. I kind of took Tarek's suggestion of, if you're playing a city builder and you're kind of addicted to it and you don't want to pause, it's okay to play a little bit of a city builder off stream. So I did exactly just that, and I think we're 10% away now from 100% terraforming Mars. So I'll stream the last half an hour of Surviving Mars. We finally ended with 100% terraforming, and then we will start Mass Effect 2 today. No worries, Jay. Thank you so much. All right. Nice job. So the next logic gate that we're going to talk about is the OR gate. So the AND gate, I said, get it into your head that it's multiplication. And with the OR gate, I want you to get it into your head, this is going to be addition. Not really, but kind of. So, we're going to build our logic gate again, or a truth table. So this table that I built earlier, in case I didn't mention it before, is called a truth table. So again, our inputs could be 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. In binary, these are the digits in order. That's 0, 1, 2, 3, in case you're wondering. Under the condition of an OR gate, when our input is 0, 0, our output is 0 as well. Okay, this is starting off similar to an AND gate. If our input is 0, 1, our output 1. Trying to do funny things with my eyebrows. Under the condition that our input is 1 and 0, our output is 1. And under the condition that our inputs are 1 and 1, our output is 1. This is the symbol for an OR gate. Looks very similar to that of a AND gate, but it's pointy. It has a pointy tip and 2 pointy ends. So that's structurally how it looks very, very different. So remember I said get it into your head that AND is multiplication and OR is plus. Let's follow this Boolean. So I'm giving you a snippet of Boolean algebra. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 1, 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. And 1 plus 1, chat, in Boolean algebra is 1. Remember this when someone offers you a choice of dessert. Just respond yes. I like the way you think. I like the way you think. So, with this, let's do a wave. I'm going to follow the diagram here. High, low, low, high. Dash line. So that's a high, low, low, high. That's a high, high, low, low. So what is our outcome in this case, in this question? So as long as one of them is high, our outcome was going to be high. That's a high. That's a high. That's a low because both of them are low. Last one is high. So in waveform, this is how it looks. Young at Heart, 75 stream streak. Holy smokes, that's incredible. Exactly, Rimcats. 1101. So, what I'm going to do with you again is give you an application of an OR gate. So as long as one of our highs is high, we ring a bell, right? An alarm rings. Let's look at this room. I have 2 windows and a door. Let's say if one of those things, I turn on my security alarm, if one of those things is jammed or broken open, we ring an alarm. That would be a very straightforward logic gate circuit for an OR gate. That's how alarm systems work. They will have this implemented in your alarms. What is this? Welcome in, Ghost. What we're doing is we're doing logic gates. It's a type of component of computer science, electronics, even logical philosophy. Well, philosophical logic and physics. So it's a really, really broad realm that we're covering. But what we're building towards is the idea and the story of how computers think. So what we're covering is some of the gates, the functions that computers and tech. Okay. That is pretty much everything we need to know about the OR gate. So we've covered 2 amazing gates, and OR. One more gate that we need to cover, and there'll be the, the bread and butter of everything. I really should have worn my Skynet jumper. I have one with the Skynet brand for today. The next thing we're going to cover is a NOT gate, and this one's a bit weird. Has another name. Does anyone know what the other name for a NOT gate is? In Timberboy. Yeah, exactly. A lot of automation games have logic gates. It's great. Application of science. NOT gate, a what gate? An inverter. There you go. Exactly. So another name for a NOT gate is an inverter, and it's going to be very, very obvious to you why. Here's the truth table for NOT gate.
That still only counts as one.
It is something that only has one input. And it just basically flips it to be the opposite. I use a NOT gate in my Uni airlocks. Yes, exactly. Computers do not think. They follow a set of strictly defined instructions. Not again, not again. Exactly. So this is how it looks though. the circle is going to be very important. In a lot of our diagrams in future, when we use and ors, and there'll be other logic gates we're going to talk about, sometimes we're going to put this thing in front of it. The idea behind it is just a classical inverter symbol. It means that whatever is coming in this way, A, if it's a high, it has to be the opposite coming out, low. If it's a low coming in, it has to be the opposite, high, coming out. And that is how a NOT gate works. Hi, Toast. Hi, Chris. Welcome in, welcome in. Don't mind me. Please continue. Thank you, mate, for the 17 months. Really, really appreciate the support on this channel. I'm getting a bit of a fuzzy brain at the moment. I think I'm caffeine overdosing. Now that I think about it, this is about 2 cups of coffee, and I had 2 cups of coffee already. So we're approaching 4 cups of coffee in a very short amount of time. So I think for health and safety reasons, I'm just going to step outside real quick and grab some water. And cut back on the caffeine for a little while at least. Exactly, get some H2O. I'll be right back. Right, I'm back. Nice ice cold water. Oh, you've mango juice? That's amazing. It's okay with electrolytes because the Celsius drink I was drinking is all like, you know, stuff like that. Hi, Megachunk. Welcome in, welcome in. No web design, Ben Peter. No, I don't know. I don't teach, nor do I know web design. And in this heat. Yeah, so no worries. I think Celsius is an electrolyte beverage with caffeine, or it's a caffeine drink with electrolyte in it. All good. So in terms of a wave signal, it's kind of straightforward. If A is a high or a low, X, our output, is the opposite. That's what the waveform look like in this case. Okay, now I've covered the three basic gates. We've covered and, or, and not. Everything I'm going to teach you now is going to be based on those gates. Even though people say, oh, there's like 10 different logic gates. Really, it all comes back to these 3 guys. Very, very bad Irish accent coming out there. Hi, Kevin. Welcome in, welcome in. Which ones are you going to teach? I'm teaching computer science. The computer science aspect of logic gates at the moment. And or not. Both. So the first one I'm going to cover with you is, let's revise AND gate. It was 0001. That was the output of it. We're going to talk about the NAND gate. Okay, we have the NAND gate. Are you asking me personally, Cruto? I'm personally an Arduino abuser. I haven't used the Raspberry Pi for much, although I really want to build a, what is it called? Not a Steam Deck, a Cyber Deck. I'm really tempted to build a not a Kindle, an ebook reader. A little handheld one. But for me to be able to do that, I need a better tutorial. I don't see any good online tutorials for it. AND gate is going to be the opposite of an AND gate. And it might help you if I structurally show you what an AND gate looks like. Oh wait, no. That's wrong. Whoopsie daisies. You can guess what that actually is, but sorry. So this is a NAND gate structurally. We're not going to do any Boolean logic, are we, Toofs? We've been covering a good bit of Boolean algebra as we're going along. And we started with Boolean logic. Build it and then write the tutorial afterwards. Prez, I'm not very good at these kind of things. But that being said, I've said that about every single electronics project I've done, so maybe I should take that back. We'll see. Pulma Bank, 7-stream streak, let's go! So remember, a NOT gate is an inverter, right? It has that dot. So what we basically are doing is we have an AND gate, and at the exit, just at the end, we're inverting it. So remember, an AND gate is 0, 0, 0, 1. Think about it, we were going to invert it. 1, row, row, row. There we go. That is what an AND gate is. It is inverting, why there's an N in front of it, inverting an AND gate. Well, I wish you luck with your web design. Unfortunately, I don't do anything like that, so I would be of little help to you. I just joined 20 minutes ago. I've never seen your stream before. I'm glad to hear that, Kruto. How did you find us? Was it just recommended on Twitch? Oh, I get the Indian bread now. Naan bread. I was wondering why you guys were talking about bread for ages. Oh, sorry. You're absolutely right. If the logic gate of a AND is 0, 0, 0, 1, inverting it makes it 1, 1, 1, 0. You're absolutely right. There we go. Welcome in, Reiko. Hi, Calva. Welcome in, welcome in. Hello, ma'am. Welcome in, Physics by Deep. Hope you're keeping well. Are you also a student? No. Thank you for assuming I'm a student. No. I'm a lecturer. Although you never stop learning. Heat stroke? Okay, let's think about it. Could we make a useful logic gate out of a NAND gate? Let's think about this. Something that goes low. I see. I was wondering. This is kind of a butchered AND gate, really. But let's say you have two tanks. And you have a level sensor. Remember the transistor that we worked with? And if they become full, and they get a high, you get a low output under that condition. whatever the fuck there. Under the condition you get a low output, your green LED lights up. So let's say you're filling up tanks. I don't know. I'm going to be very broad about this. I'm not sure this is how big lorries and trucks work, or airplanes. Do they have one tank? Do they have two tanks? I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that big things that use fuel have more than one tank. Okay, so take a wild guess. And if under the condition that two fuel tanks are filled, only under those conditions does the LED light up. So that would be a simple NAND gate system. Now you could argue and say that you could use an AND under this case as well, and that's true, but yeah, this is just one idea. You look young and old at the same time, so I couldn't tell. Interesting. No, thanks. I was offered a cocktail. And I rejected it. Look at me, chat. I'm being so good. Can you make a bracket out of who's going to win the World Cup? I would love Norway to win. Personally, I'm putting... not that I'm putting money on, but if I were to put money on, I would put money on Norway. Wings have several tanks along the wings. Okay. Hi, Ken. Let's go, Norway! Only because of Haaland, though. I love the Haaland memes. They're great. He's just... Oh, I don't know what to say. He's just such a personality. That man was built as a rugby player and decided to play football instead. If you were to start learning from home, how would you start? I learned all of this from home. My biggest recommendation is textbooks. I think textbooks are a really, really great start. And any support you need along the textbooks. Let's say you've read something like this and you're like, I don't get NAND gates. YouTube. There's amazing science communicators and educators on YouTube. I highly recommend so many. Is this music for Space Rangers? No, it's Elder Scrolls. Skyrim. Are you smarter than Bill Nye the Science Guy? Probably not. It depends. He has a lot of experience. Not to call him old. Don't quote me on that, but he's a much older gentleman. So he has a lot more experience in science, I would say. It depends what you mean by smart. Yeah, computer memory. Exactly. That's hopefully what I want to get to eventually, Ringcats. That's what my whole YouTube series is about. Hi, Motion. What is this channel for? I teach physics, electronics, electrical engineering. I want to teach more chemistry as well, actually. I'm thinking about... I don't know if people know this. A lot of my PhD was electrochemistry, number one. And number two, I actually have a bachelor's degree in chemistry as well. I have a joint physics and chemistry bachelor's degree, which means I'm a qualified teacher, at least at a high school level, teaching chemistry. With my background in electrochemistry, I'm pretty sure I'm qualified to teach chemistry. Now, just because I'm qualified doesn't mean I should. That's a different beast altogether. Clem, welcome in. 5 stream streak, let's go. But if I ever run out of physics topics to teach, there we go. But I have too many topics to cover. I still haven't finished making videos on all the electronic topics I know. I still have only started thermodynamics. And I want to study properly mechanics and electromag again. And there's obviously modern physics stuff. But basically, I'm going to create content and I'm going to reteach everything to myself one more time. So I'll sit down and I'm teaching myself or learning a new topic. It's not going to be new. It's going to be revision because I did do all of these topics. And then I learned something. I'm like, oh, that's why I didn't understand that when I was 18 years old. Oh, that's why I didn't understand that when I was 21. And then I'll create videos, basically, why my brain is lagging. There you go. Just watched Project Hail Mary, is thinking about physics. Ah, I see, Ken. Hi, Grim. Welcome in, welcome in. Star with a 435 stream streak. Oh, my days. Oh, my days. And if you use a digital board, it will be more visible, but it won't be as fun. I'll zoom in so you guys can see a little bit better. But a digital board is nowhere near as entertaining and as readable. There you go. I disagree with that, Call Me. I, in fact, think that that's the problem with universities. Universities across the board will say something like, I'm not a teacher, I'm a lecturer. My job is not to teach, it's to lecture. And I think that is the reason why academia feels so closed off and so poorly structured in their education system, and a lot of people are turning back on this. There are a lot more teaching degrees now, or like before it was all research based, but nowadays it's more acceptable to have a teaching background to become a lecturer. Having a teaching experience is very, very valuable. Because do you know that kind of, maybe you guys had lecturers like this, or professors who would say something like this in the beginning: I have the highest fail rate of my subject. And statistically, only 40% of you are going to pass. Did anyone ever have someone like that? Or very discouraging? I'm going to take a wild guess and say that it has and they brag about, exactly. I'm going to say that they're bad teachers. The thing that you should be proud of is having a really high pass rate and requiring you to continuously make your module more difficult. That's something to brag about, in my opinion. If you have an incredibly high pass rate, you're showing that you're very, very good at teaching, and you have to increase the difficulty of the material. Not to brag or anything, but that's what I have to do this year. Anyways, that's up to the, yeah. I am very, very passionate that I think if lecturers, it's fine. I get it that it's a bigger lecture room. I absolutely understand. You have to lecture. You can't teach. You can't teach personally like you can in high school. I understand that. But I think there's a huge gap, an unnecessarily huge gap in the ability to teach between lecturers and secondary school teachers. And it's not justified. That's my opinion. Bear in mind. So that's kind of what I stand with. I hope that more lecturers will take it upon themselves to teach themselves how to teach. But, and I know a lot of people are just, this is why there's going to be a pushback. The first way to become a good teacher is to reflect on the fact that you are not great, you need to improve. And the minute you're honest with yourself is the minute you can start learning and become better. But most people are not happy in admitting that they're not good at teaching. I think that's fair to say of anyone, of course. I'm just going to sit down for a little while to rest my legs. Like, no one wants to be told they're wrong or they're not good at something that they have years and years of experience with. I get that. It's maybe okay. Literally 90% of my universities. Oh no, Ringcats, no. Hi, 15 stream streak. Welcome in, welcome in. Hope you're keeping well. Exactly, Call Me. I think so, that having a high fail rate just means you're bad at teaching. Because there are subjects, okay, here's the thing. In physics, there are definitely subjects that are notoriously known for being difficult. Something like thermodynamics, quantum mechanics, some sort of mathematics like algebra I'm trying to think of a module name, vector analysis or something like that. Those really, really more difficult mathematical modules, for example. There are definitely subjects that are just notoriously known for being very, very difficult and students really struggling to pass. If you end up being a lecturer on those subjects and your subject becomes maybe not necessarily a high pass rate, but just a good pass rate, that reflects so well on you. I don't know. Yeah. Because if you come under fire for having a really too high of a pass rate as well, of course, but especially if you're way too low of a pass rate, not the industry, what's it called? The faculty is going to look into you. You're going to be researched, or what's the word? The term I'm looking for. There's going to be an inquiry. Like if students are failing your subject, they have to look into it. So, and that's bad press, if that makes sense, on your field and your faculty. So I don't get why, yeah. Anyways, sorry about that rant, but I'm very, very passionate that lecturers should learn how to teach and should reflect on themselves and stuff like that. Like I said, unfortunately, the most notoriously poor lecturers are also the ones who are most proud of their teaching. So it never reflects well. Now, you could sit there and say, Tofu, aren't you being a bit snobby? You know what? You're absolutely right. I am being pompous. I get, but I can say objectively that I think I reflect a lot on my teaching. It helps to have motivated class. Absolutely, Wobbly. Hi, by the way. I absolutely agree with you, Wobbly, yeah. Good to be snobby. The world is sorely lacking in competence. Oh, exactly, Giraffe. That's the problem with the structure of academia, is that you become a professor or a lecturer based on your research. I mean, that system has been around for hundreds of years. Chat, that's how Isaac Newton became a lecturer. He was terrible. Everyone hated him. No one liked him as a lecturer. He was really, really bad at teaching. But because he was super, super smart, he continued to do so. I don't know, mate. In my experience, actually, some of the most intelligent people I've ever met in physics are actually very good teachers. I can think objectively of 4 people. My 4 favorite lecturers, my 4 favorite lecturers who were enthusiastic, good teachers, were also the smartest lecturers, smartest researchers. I'll take 5, actually. I just remember the guy. So in my very narrow experience in life, the smartest lecturers I ever had were also the best teachers. So for me, do you know that kind of vision of super, super smart, you're a bad teacher? That perception kind of collapses for me. But if your lecture is just talking to people, exactly. The first 6 years of good upgrade. They say if the student fails, it's 100% on the student, which is sort of true, but still. How should I say this? I believe that I have a responsibility to do what I can to help a student. Whether it be to provide extra support, extra whatever, help them out, guidance, all of that. I definitely believe that that's my responsibility as a teacher. At the same time, though, I agree that You can do everything you can to provide, but if they fail, they fail. You can't pass them just, you know, out of feeling bad. They still need to do well. But I do believe in supporting them as best as you can. A good teacher, more students pass. Exactly. Well, it's something to reflect on. I'll try to improve again. I feel like part of it depends how much they... Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, call me. It is the effort. It is up to the student in the end to pass. If a soldier fails once, kill the soldier. If the soldier fails twice, kill the officer. That should be there. Should I start quoting Sun Tzu? Art of War. Sun Tzu, sorry. Art of War for my students. That's going to be the intro to my lecture notes. Like, the first lecture of my subject is just going to be Art of War quotes. Hi, Opinionat. Welcome in. I think that's a great idea. I love that. Don't kill them, Tofu! No. It's about teaching them a lesson. It's about teaching them a lesson. I think that's a great idea. Oh my god, my head is feeling so dizzy. What's wrong with me? Am I shaking? Heck? Am I getting heat stroke? I'm not sweating. I'm a bit hot on my back. Not sweating. Jesus. Too much coffee? I think so. I had technically 3 cups of coffee last 6 hours. That's not that much though. So that is like more than usual for me. I usually have 2 cups of coffee a day. But 3 cups in total is not that insane. Your face does look a little bit red. Oh, that's because I have a blush. Don't die on stream. I'll try. Yeah, no, Art of War is a small book. I have it as well. It's a small enough book, yeah. I bought it. I never read it, though. It's on my to-read list. I bought too many books. I really need to sit down and read them and stop buying books. Another really thin book that I bought, and maybe Wobbly, if you're still here. I remember you were there. I'm trying to remember Jimmy, Nas. During COVID, I started a book club in my Discord. And one of the first books we read was The Trial by... Oh my god. The guy who wrote Metamorphosis. Kafka, thank you so much. Kafka. I read Letters to My Father, I think they're called. Very, very beautiful book. And it is a very short read. If any of you are like in a conflicted relationship with your parents, which I'm sure we all are, to be honest, I think it's a wonderful read where you have this duality of forgiving your parents because they were young. They didn't know any better. While also recognizing that you were a victim. And it was your first time on Earth as well. It was your first experience too. So, yeah, I recommend that book. It's quite a short read, and Kafka is not the easiest of reads usually, but that one in particular is quite nice, I would say. Highly recommend it. Anyone else? I don't know if it's called that, if it's Letters to Your Father or My Father's Letters or something like that. Yeah, you can forgive your parents for the things that they did. Well, yeah. Again, be careful about what I say. Just because I say this, my personal experience with my parents, and then some of you all might have like went through proper abuse. I want to make sure that I'm not saying this is a blanket statement for everyone. If you feel conflicted about your parents at the moment, or you feel like you understand the duality, that you hold a lot in your heart. As in boring or tough to follow? Kafka is tough to follow. His skill of the language is quite difficult to read. Which is that refusing to forgive is drinking poison in hopes that the other person dies. Oh wow, jeez, that's very, very scary to think. Sorry guys, I'll continue the lesson in a minute. I'm just sitting down. I actually feel a bit dizzy. I'm not sure why. So I'm drinking a bottle of water. No, the translation Orf, yes. So obviously something can be lost in translation for sure. I understand that. Hi Johnny, welcome in. We're not too far from finished though. We did and, or, not, and nand. You can guess now that we're going to do the Norgate. And maybe if we have time, some Zor and stuff. Did you have enough sugar? Maybe not. Maybe I'll have a snack. I'll have some sliced apple. I'm not hungry though. I did have lunch. I had some fouet, Spanish fouet, and some protein hummus, and some cucumber, red pepper, carrots, pickled ginger. It was a girl dinner. I've been summoned. Yeah, so I got a gift of it and I've been eating it. Oh, I love it. It's one of the things that makes it very difficult if I wanted to go full vegetarian for sure. But it was given as a gift and it's delicious. So, are you okay? I'm okay. I'm fine. Honestly, I'm fine. It's just a weird kind of dizziness in the back of the head. If I remember correctly, I had a caffeine overdose once when I was like 21 years old. It's when I pulled 2 all-nighters in a row. Don't do this. This is dangerous. But it was because I was a bartender and I had exams as well. And I drank like 4 monsters a day or something. I remember feeling this exact issue at the back of my head. So I think it's just a caffeine overdose, even though I don't feel like I had that much caffeine. Hi, Lear. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hi, Daniel. I live in Fouetland. Oh, I think that's the most delicious thing. Yes, I love cured meat. I also love sausages. The Irish sausage is fine. It's just the one typical sausage you have. But I love the broadness of sausages in Eastern Europe, for example. We have loads of variants of sausages. And it's great. And we have things like sardelki and stuff. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. I like... Oh. And soup. I love bone-based soup. Oh. Yeah, those are so good. Anxiety is sweating through the roof. Jesus, Cruto. I usually feel dizzy when I don't have enough electrolytes. Exactly, Freedom. I probably, yeah. Oh, I laid on the bed and the whole room is spinning. Oh, Jesus. Oh no, Lair. I hope you get some sleep. Don't stay up too late now. Yeah. Like, my favorite dish is a Russian salad, spaghetti with ketchup. Chat, I know you're gonna go crazy. And sardelki, which is like... What is sardelki? It's like... It's kind of like a sausage, but it's a sausage you boil? It's a very popular Russian one. Is it Polish as well? Okay, fair enough. So we have it in Russian as well. Sardelki. It's like a big thick sausage that you boil. It's really nice. It kind of has a similar texture to a Frankfurter, but way, way bigger. That's like my go-to. Okay, remove the Russian salad and put in salted cucumber. It's not marinated cucumbers. It's malasolne, which means, if I directly translate it, as little salted. So you marinate them in salt, basically. Just like just like ketchup. Mm. Yeah, malasolne cucumbers are so good. I'm gonna show you, chat, the best cucumbers in the world. These aren't exactly malasolne, but they're very, very good and very, very close. Oh, there we go. This is the best. So good. So good. So these are really close to my granny's ones. I get them not even in a Polish store. I actually get these bad boys in called Super Value? Yeah. Pickles. Yeah, sorry, pickles. They are slightly different, but they're really, really close to what I really love. They're so good. Oh, my mouth is watering. Maybe I should have some. Maybe that's what I need, chat. Can I open this? Oh, no, I can't do it without a knife. I need to stick it. Yeah, malasolne are firmer. I love pickles that are still firmy. I'm not a big fan of pickled stuff that gets too squishy. If it becomes gooey, that's why I don't like marinovne stuff. Yeah, it's not great. I'm not a big fan. But anything that's pickled and stays firm, oh, so good. The crunch, exactly. So I love gherkins. Like, gherkins, as long as they stay crunchy. Oh, good. Okay, I'll be right back. I'll just put this back in the fridge. Well, pickles are so good. I agree. Pickles are the best. Yeah, exactly. Maybe we should have some pickles. I was gonna have an apple. Second. All right. Oh, I've heard that cucumbers in America are very sweet. I've also seen in America you can buy like a pickled cucumber in like a single packet. As someone who made these things as a kid, they self-seal, so Dar's hard to open, but it's some kind of yes, it is a chemical reaction, yeah. Oh, I've never heard of that stereotype. Yeah, fermentation is great. Mm. Oh. Anyways, you guys are all making me hungry. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to finish our logic gates. Almost. We're just going to do the NOR gate, which I'm sure you can already take some wild guesses as to what the NOR gate is. Oh, speaking of fermentation and vodkatation, what's amazing is, have you seen animals naturally eating fermented fruit and veg? Great. Oh, pickled herring. I love we call it siliotka. It's so good. Although you can make it out of anything. So we make siliotka, even though it's a special fish you use usually, you can make it out of other fish. So one of the fishes that we popularly make it out of is mackerel. Mackerel is really, really nice. Pickled mackerel. Squirrel's getting drunk, exactly. So what we're going to cover now is the NOR gate. A, B, X, have 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1. Usual. An inverted OR, exactly. Cassidy coming in with a 5-stream streak. Let's go. So remember an OR gate, it was 0, 1, 1, 1. What's it going to be now? It's going to be inverted. So it's going to be 1, 0, 0, 0. So that is going to be the truth table to a NOR gate. How do we draw it? Start with an OR gate. And we just invert the output. There we go. That's what we have. We're going to fly through the last two that I want to cover. The two I want to cover, let me check. One more. We'll just do one more. It's getting too hot in here. Yay! Hi, Read and Rap. Welcome in, welcome in. The last cool one I want to talk about is the logic gate Zor. I laugh because it's actually not pronounced Zor, but because I'm self-taught, I used to call it Zor all the time. It's otherwise known as exclusive OR. And let me show you what it looks like. There we go. So what is an exclusive OR? Well, if you have your inputs A and B, you have a low when your two inputs are low, a high, but if your two inputs are high, you get a low. So an exclusive OR basically states that it will be a high under the condition of only one high input. However, if you have the same matching inputs, 0, 0 or 1, 1, then you get an you get a low in those two cases. A fancy OR. So that is the last logic gate I want to cover. Now there's a few other ones. So you have something like a negative AND. And that's if you put inverters before the AND gate. You can also have a negative OR. The same idea. The circle is basically a NOT gate. The circles are in the wrong place. I don't think so. If it was a NAND gate, it would be here. But this is a negative AND gate, which means puts it in front of it. This is not a NAND gate. This is different. A negative AND gate and a NAND gate are two different things. A NAND gate be like this. It's a different gate. Yeah, no worries, no worries. Whoop! Sorry, fell over some of my filament. Might call the other an inclusive OR. Careful when you place those nipples. Very important. Nipple position is important. All right. And that, boys and girls, lab rats and labradoodles, and everything in between, ends our lesson on logic gates. We covered all the logic gates in this case. That we need to cover. Is this a science class or just knowledge preaching channel for fun? I don't know the answer to that, Raj the cat. The reason, like, if you're asking if this is a science class, I teach science on this channel, but this isn't like a registered class or anything. But I don't know if knowledge preaching is a fair assessment of my channel either. Yeah, there is logic gates in the background on my whiteboard, on my blackboard. There'll be a pop quiz later. Exactly, Rockefeller. Is there different applications of negative AND gate and NAND gates? Yes, there are. Absolutely. Although they can operate both very similarly, it depends on your unique statement. Like what you say. For example, under this condition, is the seatbelt on or off? Remember we kind of talked about that? Maybe that's not possible. Maybe we need to invert one of the inputs. Do you know how to swap two variables without a temporary one using XOR? Do you know just two variables? I don't even think I understand the question, Lynn. Sorry. Sounds like a similar program trick. Could you call a negative AND gate a NAND gate? I've never heard of it that way, so it's just used negative AND. Yeah. That's so many low viewers, it might be a home tutor on like it. No. No. I dual stream, so I'm dual streaming on YouTube and Twitch. Shooting two birds, one stone. Given two binary registers, how to swap their content with XOR only without a third register. Is that the trick? No, I was going to say, is that like with the light switches? Like the ones in the house? But anyways, do share. Oh shoot, my music stopped. Ha, Amelia, you're very, very nice. Thanks. A is equal to A to the power of B, and B is equal to A to the power of B. A is equal to A to the power of B. Oh my god. My brain. One to the power of 0. Be a 1. That's 0. 0 to the power of 1. Ah, yes, something about De Morgan's theorem, yes. De Morgan says this. Sorry, do you see that? You do. And So De Morgan says that a NOR gate is the same as a negative AND gate, and a NOR gate, or sorry, a NAND gate is the same as a negative OR gate. There we go. Does that make sense? Oh, to the power of 2 Zor. So A... I'm so silent. I'm not getting it. I don't know if I'm just being stupid or... Sorry. A to the B to the C to the D. Yeah, no, that's right, Ringcats. You're right. It is the symbol for Zor. Even with that, reading it, I'm so sorry. I'm just being so silly, I think. It's easier to do with the whiteboard and a truth table, that's fair. Explaining this in words to me is probably not the best solution. Oh, sorry, I think my music is a bit loud. Obviously hyping us up for our Mass Effect playthrough. That's a fair question, mate. Why do we have those logic gates if there's the same thing between them? That's a fair statement. I suppose the answer to your question is... when you get into some algebra, it will be a little bit confusing and a little bit difficult to do. And sometimes you need to get these terms out. You need to get negative ands and negative ors to get it to work. Now, another way of thinking about this is separate those two guys. Separate the circle and the gate. What does this mean again? That's an and 2 knots before it. Sorry, yeah, 2 knots before it. So that means you can build a NAND. You can build a NAND gate using an OR and 2 inverters, 2 knots. Does that make sense? It's just showing the availability of the different logic gates that you can build depending on the system or depending on the chips that you have in your hands. You can build everything with NAND gates, that is right. I have a whole YouTube video, I think, on that. Where I build every single logic gate using a NAND gate. I think I have a YouTube video exactly on that topic. Exactly. It makes things a lot easier to solve. And we now have ChatGPT. Nowadays people learn slow moving, creates fast voltage. What is with my headache? It's not even a headache. I can't explain it. I don't actually have a headache by pure definition. Just really sore. Not sore. Again, it's so weird. I feel heavy on my head. We might... yeah, brain fog or something. It's just... it feels like there's metal in my head and my head is a bit heavy at the back. Probably the heat wave. I used to get migraines, not anymore. I haven't had them in years. So what I might do is I might say goodbye to YouTube because we're finishing up our science segment. And I might finish Surviving Mars. We're almost done. And then we kick off with Mass Effect. I think that will be the plan. But I'll take a break here regardless. And might have an apple. Yeah, no, I do have blood pressure issues, to be fair. In the heat, I have blood pressure issues anyway. So I know that for sure. Probably what it is. Bye-bye, you boob. Sounds like HOTS gave you migraines.